Good afternoon, everybody. So it is February the 24th, and I'm going to do my market recap for the today. I'm not going to trade the PM session because I took a monster trade today of 19.75 handles on ES, which I'll show you shortly. And so I think there's enough value in this video to whet your appetite for the weekend, right? So with that being said, if you find value at the end of this video, right, please do consider smashing the like and subscribe. It helps the channel out and it helps other people like yourself view this content, right? So I also have a Discord, so if you want to jump in, feel free to come over. You are more than welcome to, because it's currently open and it's currently free, right? So we bang out trades every single day and we have an amazing community. So I hope to see you on the other side. But yeah, with that being said, let's just jump straight up into the good stuff, right? So I want to start on Dixie. And Dixie, we are quite clearly in the buy side of the model, right? So we are offering price higher. It's continuously getting bid higher. And the way we can see this and we can break this down is as follows. So we had accumulation here, and this is manipulation, this is distribution, right? This is reaccumulation, this is distribution into consolidation. Then we have manipulation, back into distribution, reaccumulation, beginning of the distribution phase, and now we are quite clearly in distribution, right? So I just want to start by saying, what I've noticed with Dixie, right, is when Dixie is within a range, ES will either stay trend bound or Dixie will not have such a great an impact on ES. So when we were in this phase, it wasn't impacting ES as much as it has been since it's broken out of its range, okay? So if you remember that day we had, I believe it was on Monday or Tuesday this week, where we had just a continuous down day, and it just, that was because Dixie was stuck in this range, so it didn't play an impact on ES's movement. However, as soon as we have moved out of the range, we are seeing volatility in ES, right? And so if Dixie is going higher, ES is going lower. So this is indicating that ES is going into a sell program, whereas Dixie is in a buy program, and that's where you get that divergence, right? And so what am I looking at? I'm currently looking at, and I like the higher time frames for Dixie. That's how I model Dixie, because I like to see where we are in a cycle, right? And we quite clearly have this order block here, this last down close candle, last up close candle before a leg lower. You know, this green candle here is a bearish order block. So we're currently above mean threshold, and I want to see us trade up into this fair value gap, right? That's what I'm looking at price to target. And if price reaches up into that, I'm looking to see one of two things. I'm looking to see if price wants to retrace and will fall back into a range for further consolidation, at which point I imagine to see ES stay range bound, or or if it completely collapses back into its reaccumulation, we might see ES, head back up towards 4,000. However, if Dixie decides to punch through this high and start forming new highs, right, having complete market structure shift, and we start to get, start filling in these voids, then we are going to see ES continue to the downside. And the first target is obviously 3,900 and those areas, right? So if we jump back in today, we had obviously seen a huge sell-off from the midnight open price, right? It was continuously being offered and pegged down, right? However, Dixie was on this, was ripping, right? So we are seeing huge weakness and volatility within ES to the downside, right? So then we had the news embargo at 8:30, so we had the data release, and we saw this huge displacement leg lower. At this stage, I'm doing absolutely nothing. I was waiting for the data to come out to see what price wanted to do. And we can see that we had this huge displacement leg. And what do we know about it? If price is extremely heavy, it is unlikely to get back above the discount range of the displacement leg. And we look for consequential encroachment of the discount range of the displacement leg. And what I mean by that is this is the displacement leg, throw a fib across it, that's the equilibrium, and you take equilibrium of the discount range, right? And that's that pink line that runs across the middle, right? And so I was calling out in my Discord that, look, if price is showing an unwillingness to get above this line here, we can take it short. And so we did, and I did, and I took about 6 handles here, right? But then at the open, I was thinking, right, okay, guys, look, if price wants to trade back up into this OTE, we know that price is heavy. We know that Dixie's ripping, right? We know that we have what forming here on the hourly, right? If you want to learn what this is, I have got a video on mitigation blocks, and I'll post a card in the top right corner so you can watch it after. But this is clearly a mitigation block, right? And so I called out in my Discord, look for the low of this mitigation block. And what did price do at the open? It came back, it fell into median threshold of this bullish order block, and then moved higher, took out these relative equal highs, got into just about equilibrium of this displacement leg, but ran into this mitigation block, right, on the hourly, right, ran into this mitigation block. And so where did I go short? I went short right there. And if I just bring you my chart out, you can see it. So this is ES. You can see it's my live account. 74 is where I got in. I had a brain fart here. I took a trade with with no stop. It didn't have my ATM strategy in place, so I quickly got out of it. And that was previously. So I got back in up here with my ATM strategy in place, and then rode it all the way down to 56. 19.75 handles. Ah, bosh! Ah, bosh! Alright, that's most people's weekly, well, some people's monthly salary, right? It's ridiculous. In, what, 3 minutes? Ludicrous stuff, right? Ludicrous. So what was I targeting, right? I had this as my range, and I was looking at an implied range of 0.5 as a safe place. And the reason why I was targeting this is because it was whole site. Now, this isn't ICT related specifically, and this is the only thing I really draw from retail, and that is whole site numbers. So 3950, 4000, 4050, 4100, 3900, you get it. Whole site numbers, they do act as quote unquote support and resistance. If they're being chopped around in and they've been tested multiple times, price can carve through them. But if we haven't seen 39.50 in over 30 days, it is likely to form a period of consolidation, or at least retrace from that level. That's you can't argue that. That's just facts, right? So my target was to run up to this mitigation block where I went short, and I wrote it down to the whole site number of 39.50. And actually, I went out and it stopped me out on 56. I put a trailer on it. Okay, so I took my 19.75 handles, didn't go all the way down to I didn't run it all the way down to 47, but who cares, man? Like, literally, who cares? So that sums up my trade. That sums up my trade this morning, and that's how simple it is. It was a really, really simple trade. Price was heavy, Dixie was ripping, couldn't get back above the discount range. It was showing implied weakness. Price then moved back up into a mitigation block. This was a safe entry. Stop would have been above MT of this mitigation block. And we wrote it down to the whole site number. Very, very simple setup. So what do I believe is going to happen from here? And this is my observation. And so I'm doing this before the facts. We do have this implied fair value gap. I'm not 100% convinced on these yet, but we do have one here. But I'm looking for price to get up to the medium threshold of this mitigation block, which is the 12 o'clock candle on February the 23rd, which is Thursday, right? And that would also coincide with us running into an OTE, so a target entry of this displacement leg. And what am I targeting? So I would be looking for price to head down further. I believe price is very, very heavy. And I will want to see Dixie break out of this consolidation that it's currently in. So you can see it's currently consolidating for a push up to retest these highs, to test that fair value gap that I mentioned, right? And ultimately see if it wants to punch through that. Now, if that happens, I have multiple targets. So obviously you'd have the low of the day, would be the initial, but I believe that price could do something, depending on how hungry Dix is. I am looking at this breaker block here on the 21st of December, and the high of that is 39.18. Okay, so 39.18 is currently what I'm potentially looking at as a draw. Whether it gets there or not is up for debate. We'd have to monitor price action, but I'm looking for price to show signs of heaviness around this mitigation block for short entries. Okay, after lunch, around the 1:30 time, right? 1:30 to 2 o'clock. I'd like to see price start heading down. And if we show some aggressive displacement lower, I'll be looking to target this breaker block, taking us all the way back down to just above 3,900, right? An absolute carve this week. There's some serious money wiped off this market if it does get down there. But we'll wait and see. So that's going to wrap up my today's session. I did mention there I do have a Discord. Links are in my socials. Feel free to come over and say hi. We're a family. We're a friendly bunch, and we are growing an absolute monster. So look forward to catching you on the other side. And until then, trade safe and take care. Bye.